Oil markets oscillate. Will OPEC weaponize oil over Gaza? Hello, this is Chart GPT today. Of course, the oil markets last week crashed down into the low 70s, coming off, people think, from the upper 8, almost 90 earlier a few months ago there. And so people are wondering, well, will oil become weaponized over the current ongoing Israeli-Hamas conflict? So let's take a look at where some of the oil supply and demand and where it's coming out. This is coming out of OPEC directly. I think you can look at the description link for the post link on some of the reports coming out of OPEC. They're quite detailed, actually. Anyway, here's a couple coming that I drew out of the report, and it's looking at the oil demand and where it's coming from the U.S. And if you look at this number, you can see that oil demand is dropping. And of course, you wonder, well, why is it dropping? Well, it's probably because of the coming potential recession. Of course, they're predicting recovery in 2024. We'll see if that happens. But for right now, the main reason that oil prices are dropping is because there's a belief that there'll be less business activity and hence a slower demand. Of course, this is a bit global here. Here's a European. You can see also oil demand is slowing, again, because of a poor economic situation. And here's Asian Pacific as well. You're looking at the red dots on those lines. You can see it's gradually declining over the quarters here in 2023. So looking at the supply, you can see the supply has been trending down. They've been trying to match the slowing demand, but mostly it's part of the OPEC is declining, but the rest of the world is still pumping. So perhaps OPEC has already started using the war as a potential weapon, or are they looking at purely from an economic perspective? There's a lot of articles out there. OPEC is going to look at further oil production cuts, which would raise prices, which could anger a lot of the Western countries because they're using it as a weapon. Of course, they always say they're not, but a lot, if you read the articles, they're starting to say, well, maybe we need to pull away from the situation and use oil as a weapon. Of course, if that happens, we could see some oil shocks, which gets into where the oil prices are heading here. It's kind of a trader chart. You can see that we were looking to go higher here, and people thought it was going higher based upon the conflict, but instead it's gone the other way. It's gone down to the low 70s. It's coming up here recently, but that's probably because it's a little bit of reactive trading there. So probably we're given about a 60% chance that if there's no wider conflict, that it may just oscillate here between the 70s, low 70s, maybe higher 60s to the range here, and kind of a range train here over the next few months. In case we do have some kind of a wider conflict, then we could see an oil spike, because that'll affect not just perhaps the political use of it, but it could start affecting supply chains if they start blowing up oil fields and pipelines, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So that's something, a risk that's always there. Of course, that's an unsure thing, but put that risk level as high as 40%. Take a look at the AI in terms of what oil premiums, we call it the oil premium, and what kinds of things can affect that in the AI. The AI kind of describes that a little bit, kind of gives you a summary of it. As well as take our online poll. Which direction do you think oil prices are going, and will it be affected? Will OPEC use it as a weapon in the near future? Don't forget to subscribe.